The Honorable Peregrine Sullivan drew rein on the high Dorsetshire cliff-top and looked out over the calm waters of Lulworth Cove. The sea surged through the horseshoe-shaped rock at the entrance to the cove in a flash of white water, and then smoothed out as it rolled gently to the beach. Perry was not familiar with this southern coastline, having spent his own growing in the rugged wilds of Northumberland, where rough mountains and hilly moors were the usual scenery. But he found it rather soothing, the expanse of water sparkling under the Indian summer sun, the rough grass of the cliff-top, the air perfumed with the clumps of fragrant pinks crushed beneath his horse's hooves. It was altogether a softer part of the world, and none the worse for that, he reflected. His weary horse raised his head and whinnied. Perry leaned over and stroked the animal's neck. "Almost there, Sam." He urged the horse forward with a nudge of his heels. It had been a long ride from London, 3 days in all. The Honorable Peregrine was not overly flush with funds, and had decided a post-chaise would be an unwarranted expense, and he didn't wish to change horses on the road, leaving Sam in an unknown stable, so they'd taken it slowly, at a pace that the gelding could comfortably manage. But now they were within 2 miles of Combe Abbey, their final destination. The grey stone building stood on a slight hill, easily visible from the road that wound across the cliff above the Solent. It was an impressive turreted building, with arched mullioned windows glowing in the setting sun. Well-tended green lawns swept down to the cliff-top, and a stand of tall pines served as a windbreak along the boundary of the grounds and the cliff. Perry felt a little surge of anticipation. In that impressive building was a library, and in that library were treasures, some known, such as the Decameron, which set his literary juices running, and many, he was sure, unknown and equally priceless. His good friend, Marcus Crofton, had assured him that he could spend as long as he liked in the library. Its owner, Sir Stephen Douglas, had given him carte blanche to browse as much as he chose. Peregrine turned his horse through the gates, which were opened at his appearance by a robust gatekeeper. "Dower House is just round the first bend in the drive, sir," he informed Peregrine, in answer to the latter's question. "They's expectin' you. Master Crofton told me to look out for ye." "Thank you." Perry nodded his thanks with a smile and rode on up the drive. He was looking forward to this visit with his old friend, and not just because of the opportunity to see the library. Since his twin brother, Sebastian, had taken his new wife, the Lady Serena, on an extended honeymoon to the continent, Perry had to admit that the house they had shared on Stratton Street seemed far too big and very lonely. It had surprised him how lonely he had been. He'd always considered himself perfectly self-sufficient, perfectly content with his own company and that of his books. But he'd been mistaken, it seemed. Now he nudged Sam into a trot as the Dower House came into view. It was a pleasant thatched building in the Queen Anne style, nowhere near as impressive as the Abbey itself, but rather inviting. Smoke curled from the kitchen chimney, and the windows on both levels were opened to catch the freshness of early evening. Perry dismounted at the front door and pulled the bell rope beside it. He heard the chime within the house, and the door was opened almost instantly by a white-haired steward, who bowed and murmured, "The Honorable Peregrine, I assume, sir?" "You assume right," Perry agreed with an amiable smile, drawing off his gloves. "Perry, is that you?" A cheerful voice hailed him from the cool depths of an oak-floored hall, and a young man of around Perry's age appeared behind the steward. "Welcome, my dear fellow." He extended a hand in greeting. Perry shook his hand warmly. He had known Marcus Crofton since their school days.